You wake up on a boat headed to Vardenfell. The sky is grey, the air stinks of salt and rotting wood. You don't have any weapons, no spells, no potions, no one knows your name, and no one cares. You step off the dock with nothing but the clothes on your back. The land in front of you is strange, hostile, and silent. You're not ready, but you're here. You find a small inn, worn and simple, and offer what little coin you have for a bed. The innkeeper nods, gestures toward a corner with a thin straw mattress. You sit down and look around at the other guests. They avoid eye contact and whisper in low tones. Outside, you hear the occasional cough or a scuffle near the water. The locals keep to themselves, wary of outsiders. You notice a few merchants setting up stalls nearby, their goods dusty and rough, mostly dried fish and crude tools. Food is sparse and simple here, but it's enough to keep you going. You find a bowl of thin soup at the inn and eat quietly. The taste is bland, but warm. Rest is necessary, but sleep doesn't come easy with the ash drifting in through the cracked windows. You wake to the dull light of dawn and hear voices near the docks. A small group of men gather, their faces tense. You hear the word tax mentioned, along with grumbles about the recent troubles inland. One man eyes you sharply before turning away. You decide to explore the village cautiously, aware that every step outside the walls brings more danger. The guards at the gate barely glance at you as you pass. Outside Seydanin, the land feels hostile and empty. The ground is covered with blackened rocks and ash. The wind carries a biting chill and smells of decay. You spot a few scattered huts, abandoned or burned, but no signs of friendly faces. The sickness in the air feels thick, and your breath catches, as you realize it's not just the cold. You start to feel a faint headache and a scratch in your throat. You know this is the beginning of the blight creeping into your body. The thought of returning to the inn is comforting, but the path back seems longer and colder now. You push on a little farther, testing your limits. You notice a faint rumble overhead as dark clouds gather. The threat of an ash storm grows. The wind picks up, blowing ash into your eyes and mouth. Your clothes feel heavy, and your lungs ache. You stumble back toward the village, desperate to find shelter before the storm hits. Inside the inn, the other travelers are tense. Some speak quietly about the strange illnesses spreading through the land. Others warn of creatures lurking in the dark. You realize you are not alone in this fight for survival, but none here have the means to protect you. The ash storm hits before nightfall, shaking the walls and filling the air with choking dust. You cover your face with your cloak, trying to breathe through the thick ash. The fire in the hearth flickers and dies, plunging the inn into darkness. You huddle with the others, listening to the wind howl outside. When morning comes, the village is covered in a gray blanket. The air still feels heavy, and your head pounds. The blight spreads, and you feel it seeping deeper into your skin. You realize that without magic or medicine, your chances are slim. You will need to find shelter, food, and clean water quickly, or the sickness will consume you. Seydanin offers little comfort, and the world beyond its walls is even harsher. You understand that survival here is a matter of endurance and luck, not skill or strength. As the day wears on, you watch the villagers move about, weary and tired. The ash settles into every corner, a constant reminder of the danger outside. You wonder how long you can hold out before the blight claims you, or worse, before the creatures that stalk the night find you first. For now, you stay inside, nursing your aching throat and praying the next storm passes quickly. The first day in Seydanin ends not with hope, but with a quiet fear that this is only the beginning. You leave the safety of Seydanin behind and head toward Balmora, hoping to find better shelter and food. The path is rough, covered in ash and rock, and the air feels heavier here. The sky is darker, clouds hanging low like a warning. As you walk, you notice the plants are sparse, and the animals you see look sickly or avoid you. Near the edge of the town, you come across strange shapes moving in the shadows. One is a creature twisted by the blight, its skin mottled and cracked, eyes glowing faintly with unnatural light. It moves slowly but purposefully, sensing the living. You freeze, heart pounding, and back away, but the wind shifts and carries the scent of decay right to your face. You cough once, a sharp, wet sound that leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. You press on, hoping to reach Balmora before nightfall. The streets are quiet, but you catch whispers of fear from the townsfolk. Some stay indoors, others clutch talismans or mutter prayers to the gods, hoping for protection. You feel a growing weariness creeping into your limbs, a dull ache settling in your bones. Your head aches and your vision blurs at the edges. You brush off the feeling, blaming it on hunger and dust. Soon, the symptoms grow worse. A fever burns through you, and coughing racks your body, leaving you gasping for air. Your energy fades, making even simple tasks like walking or lifting a rock difficult. If you had strength or endurance stats, they would be dropping fast, your body failing to keep up. You find a bench and sit, hands trembling, sweat soaking your shirt despite the cold. The blight is taking hold, a sickness that attacks both flesh and mind. You know of no cure, no magic to ease the pain. You hear distant screams from the outskirts of town, warnings of creatures infected and dangerous. You try to steady your breath, but the fatigue drags you down deeper. In this state, every sound and shadow feels like a threat. You see a merchant struggling to close his stall, coughing harshly but refusing to give up. The people here survive by sheer will, but you are just a visitor, unprepared and vulnerable. The blight stains everything. You can feel it in the air, in your lungs, and even in your thoughts. Your senses dull, and your mind clouds with confusion. It is harder to focus, to remember simple things. You realize that if you don't find help soon, you might become like those creatures you saw, lost to the sickness and its dark power. The sun sinks low, casting long shadows through the narrow streets. You lean against a wall, dizzy and cold. The night will bring new dangers, creatures that hunt those who are weak. You wonder if you'll have the strength to stand against them. You try to find water, but the wells are scarce, and some are contaminated. Hunger gnaws at you, making the fever worse. You swallow hard, feeling the sickness choke your throat. Your body fights to keep you alive, but the blight has begun its slow, unstoppable work. By the time darkness falls, you are a shadow of yourself, struggling to stay awake and aware. The creatures outside grow bolder, and you hear footsteps near your hiding place. Your fate depends on luck, on timing, and on the kindness of strangers who might not be there. The blight is a silent enemy, invisible and deadly. It breaks you down from inside out. Without a cure or aid, your survival time grows shorter with each passing hour. This is the reality of Morrowind outside the safe walls, a harsh, unforgiving land where sickness and death are always close. You realize you are not a hero or a legend. You are just someone trying to survive in a world that doesn't forgive weakness. By day 5, there's no doubt something is seriously wrong. Your body feels heavy and weak, every step harder than the last. No healing potions, no blessings from shrines to ease the pain or cure the sickness. You try to hide it, but people notice. Townsfolk keep their distance. Whispers follow you when you pass. Guards look at you with suspicion, warning you to stay away or face trouble. You try to find shelter, but even the inns hesitate to take in someone who looks so sick. You sleep when you can, hoping rest will help, but it only seems to make things worse. Your dreams are restless, filled with shadows and strange voices. When you wake, the fever feels hotter, your skin clammy and pale. If you caught the regular blight, you have about 5 to 7 days left before your body starts to fail completely. The blight is a disease that eats away at your flesh and mind. It makes your muscles weak, your breath short, and your thoughts slow. You find it hard to concentrate or make decisions. Walking through the streets of Balmora or Nisus becomes a challenge. You stumble over uneven ground, and your vision blurs at the edges. People cross to the other side of the street, avoiding the sick man or woman who might bring the curse to their homes. The blight isn't just a physical illness, it changes how others see you, turning neighbors into strangers and friends into threats. Worse still is the possibility that you've caught Corpus instead of the regular blight. Corpus is the real nightmare, a disease so rare and terrible that most believe it to be a curse or a punishment from the gods. It warps your body, twisting skin into lumps and scales, turning flesh to stone or rot. Your mind starts to fade, too, memory slipping away like water through your fingers. Corpus patients lose their humanity as the disease spreads, becoming something else entirely. If this happens to you, the time you have left might be shorter, but the transformation drags on in its own slow, painful way. You become trapped inside your body, a prisoner of the sickness as it reshapes you into a monster. No one knows how to stop Corpus. No temple can heal it. No potion can cure it. Even the most skilled mages and healers can only watch as the disease claims another victim. As your strength fades, you find it harder to eat, harder to move. Simple tasks become impossible. You are isolated, trapped in a body that no longer feels like yours. The world outside continues, but you are slipping away from it. Every day is a battle to hold on to what little control you have left. You try to keep your mind sharp, but the sickness clouds your thoughts. You forget faces, names, and places. You might not realize it, but the blight and Corpus are rewriting who you are. If you wander into the wilderness, you risk encounters with blighted creatures, former people like you, now mindless and dangerous. They attack without thought or mercy. Even if you survive the sickness, surviving the creatures becomes a new challenge. Guards patrol the roads, sometimes attacking anyone who looks sick or strange. Townsfolk fear what they don't understand and may turn on you if they see signs of disease. You might try to hide, but the signs are clear. Your skin is marked, your eyes dull, your movements slow. Time is running out. Without help, without cure, your body will fail. This is the harsh truth of the blight and Corpus in Morrowind, a slow and merciless end for those caught in its grip. There is no hero's journey here, no last-minute rescue, just a steady decline, day by day, until the sickness takes everything. After about 2 weeks, if you caught Corpus, the sickness changes everything. It doesn't kill you like normal disease. Instead, it takes over your body in ways that no one fully understands. Your skin bubbles up, hard lumps form beneath the surface, and your limbs start to twist into strange shapes. What used to be your hands and feet might not even look like them anymore. The pain is constant, but after a while, you barely notice it. Your mind begins to slip away, bit by bit. You forget why you came to Vardenfell. The faces of people you once knew fade from memory, and even who you are becomes a distant thought. The sickness doesn't just change your body, it changes your mind. You wander without real direction, pulled toward Red Mountain, the fiery heart of the island. The mountain calls to you like it does to every Corpus victim. It's as if something inside you knows that's where you belong now. You lose the ability to speak clearly. Words turn into growls and snarls. You no longer recognize yourself in the mirror or in the reflections of water. You are becoming something else, something trapped between human and monster. The locals call you a Corpus beast or a shambling creature. You roam the ashlands, the barren, toxic wastelands surrounding the mountain. The air here is thick with ash and smoke, the ground cracked and lifeless. Other creatures like you wander these lands too, some hostile, others lost like you. You don't remember how to eat properly or use tools. Your mind is clouded, and your thoughts come in fragments. Sometimes you feel a flicker of your old self, a memory of warmth or kindness, but it fades quickly. The sickness controls you now. You lose all control over your actions and your body's shape. Some Corpus victims end up with skin like stone, others with twisted flesh that barely holds together. You become a ghost of a person, a monster with no past and no future. In this form, you are invisible to the Empire's soldiers and the ordinary citizens. They avoid the ashlands, and for good reason. These creatures are dangerous and unpredictable. Some attack on sight, driven by the sickness. Others just wander aimlessly, lost to the world they once knew. Red Mountain burns endlessly, a constant reminder of the volcanic power that shaped Vardenfell and the strange magic that caused Corpus. Many believe that the disease is tied to the mountain's power and the ancient gods who once ruled these lands. There is no known cure, no way to reverse the changes once Corpus takes hold. The disease turns its victims into monsters and leaves them to roam the wasteland until they finally collapse, broken and forgotten. If you ever find yourself near Red Mountain, you might glimpse these creatures in the distance, shadows moving slowly over the ash, something not quite alive, but not dead either. They are the living proof of how deadly Morrowind can be, and how the land changes those who are not prepared. In the end, you become part of the landscape itself, a creature shaped by the sickness and the fire of the mountain, forever wandering the ashlands with no hope of return. Morrowind is more than just the diseases that haunt its land. The very environment is a constant threat that wears down even the toughest traveler. Ash storms sweep across the island without warning, darkening the skies and coating everything in a fine layer of ash. This ash doesn't just irritate your skin or fill your clothes. It gets into your lungs and eyes, making every breath a challenge. It scrapes at your skin, leaving it raw and bleeding, and after hours or days exposed to these storms, you'd feel the damage deep inside. There is no safe shelter from the ash, and the storms can last for hours or even days, forcing you to either find cover or risk long-term harm. Just stepping outside means you have to face this brutal element. Then there are the cliff racers, creatures that make a living by attacking travelers from the air. These birds are aggressive and relentless. They swoop down at you with sharp beaks and claws, not giving up until you are badly hurt or dead. Cliff racers often travel in groups, so even if you fight one off, more will appear. The noise they make is terrifying, a screech that seems to echo from every corner of the ash-covered hills. People say cliff racers are one of the deadliest dangers on the island, because they come out of nowhere and rarely stop until their prey is gone. On the ground, you face other creatures that are just as deadly in their own ways. Scribs are small but vicious animals with a venomous bite. If you are bitten, the poison spreads fast and will weaken your body, making even simple movements painful. Without antidotes, the poison could kill you before you have a chance to reach safety. Quama, another native creature, can also poison you. These giant ant-like insects have powerful jaws and stings that deliver venom. Quama hives often lie hidden beneath the earth, or near paths you might take without knowing. Their stings can cause swelling, fever, and weakness, turning a short walk into a dangerous ordeal. Water is not always a safe escape either. Slaughterfish live in the rivers and lakes of Morrowind, waiting beneath the surface. They may look slow, but when disturbed, they attack swiftly, tearing into flesh with sharp teeth. Even shallow water can be deadly if slaughterfish are present. If you try to cross a river or drink from a stream without caution, you might be dragged under or badly bitten before you realize the danger. The island's many ruins and caves hide threats of a different kind. The Sixth House, a secret cult once loyal to Dagoth-Ur, left behind underground lairs filled with traps, monsters, and cursed magic. Accidentally stumbling into one of these lairs means facing horrors you are not ready for: twisted creatures, dark magic, and deadly traps. These lairs are hidden well and often not marked on any map. Travelers who don't know the signs might walk right into a nightmare, finding themselves trapped or hunted by things that do not want to be disturbed. Even camping outdoors carries risks. Sleeping near the remains of a diseased creature or in a place touched by blight can infect you without warning. The sickness in the soil and air near these sites is strong, and just a night spent there could bring sickness that no healing spell can fix. It's easy to underestimate the danger until the symptoms appear, but by then it might be too late. Every step in Morrowind is a risk, even if you avoid disease and hostile creatures. The environment itself seems to work against you. The constant ash, the biting cold nights, the rough terrain, and the lurking predators make survival a daily battle. Without shelter, food, or protection, your body would wear down fast, muscles weakening and skin breaking under the harsh conditions. Even if you avoid the worst dangers, exhaustion and injury from the environment can slow you to a crawl, leaving you vulnerable to attack or sickness. Knowing the dangers is one thing, surviving them is another. Most who come to Morrowind unprepared don't last long. The land shapes you or breaks you, and for many, it breaks them. Each ash storm, each cliff racer attack, each venomous bite chips away at your chances. It's a constant fight just to stay alive, with no rest until you find safety or succumb to the island's many dangers. In this brutal landscape, the odds are stacked against anyone without magic, weapons, or skills to defend themselves. Even the strongest warriors must keep moving, keep alert, or risk becoming just another lost soul in the ash-covered wilderness. Surviving in Morrowind without magic or special protection is a harsh test. If you stick close to Seydanin or Balmora and keep to the towns, your best chance is to survive about 10 to 15 days. Staying inside the walls means avoiding ash storms and most wildlife attacks. You can find food from local traders or even farm simple crops, though your diet will be basic and not always reliable. The locals might look at you strangely, but won't bother you much if you keep your distance. Your body will suffer from the constant ash in the air, your lungs struggling to breathe clean air. You will feel tired and weak from the dust and grit, but at least you can rest in a bed, heal minor scratches, and avoid deadly disease. This is the safest scenario, but still far from comfortable or easy. If you try to leave the safety of the towns after a few days, you risk catching blight, a disease that spreads from the ash storms and infected creatures roaming outside. Blight shows up quickly with fever, coughing, and weakness. Your muscles ache, your vision blurs, and simple tasks become difficult. Without a cure or divine aid, the sickness drains your energy. By day 4 or 5, the infection grows stronger. You might be able to push through for a few more days, but your chances of survival drop fast. Around day 10, your body can give out completely. The infection shuts down your lungs and vital organs, and you collapse, unable to keep going. Death comes quietly but swiftly in this middle scenario. The worst case is catching Corpus early, often by stepping too close to Red Mountain or wandering into a hidden ash pit where the disease thrives. Corpus changes everything. It starts like any sickness, but soon your skin bubbles and hardens. Your joints twist painfully, and your mind slips away piece by piece. By the end of 2 weeks, you're no longer human in form or thought. You wander the ashlands as a monster, drawn toward the fiery heart of the island, lost to the memories of who you once were. There is no cure or escape from Corpus. The divines don't intervene for those touched by this sickness. It's a cruel fate, turning survivors into shadows without hope. Morrowind is a land of deadly beauty and harsh truths. Your body fights a constant battle against ash, disease, venom, and creatures that see you as prey. Even if you survive the first days, every step outside safe walls adds risk. Food runs out, wounds get infected, and your mind grows tired. Rest is hard to find and often dangerous. You are alone against a world that shows no mercy to the weak. The timeline of death is short and unforgiving. 10 to 15 days if you hide well, barely 2 weeks if you wander too far, and just days if you meet the wrong creature or breathe the wrong ash. You can't rely on magic, healing potions, or lucky breaks. Without these, your survival depends on caution, luck, and a bit of skill. But even that is often not enough. Your end is likely silent, beneath the ash, a forgotten body in the vast, dangerous wilderness of Vardenfell. In this harsh land, survival is never guaranteed, and death can come from the air, the ground, or your own failing body. Your story is short and harsh because the island itself tests all who try to live here. That is it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow.